What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my Friday night Smackdown review. I also will have an extra Raw video that I've been meaning to make, but it's been a little hectic of a week, so I haven't been able to get time to do it. But yeah, I got a video about Raw I want to talk about after this. But this was a nice, decent Smackdown. I don't want to say too much bad went on with it. Most of the matches was decent. It was particular things that didn't make sense to me, but so they kicked off the show with Edge's triple threat match. Now I think Edge posted a video saying that the end of his story, take a cue from Cody Rhodes saying finish the story. He said the finish to his story would be to win the World Heavyweight Championship, and then once he loses it, retires. But that was like the big thing going in here. And but other than that, the first triple threat match was Edge versus AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio, and this was a good triple threat match. You got to see three of the best in the ring do it. Two of the best World Heavyweight champions in Edge and Rey Mysterio, and a good WWE champion in AJ Styles, and they did their thing. It was a good entertaining match with AJ Styles being the winner and moving on to the main event of tonight's show. Then they got straight into it. No promo, but they did advertise it before the start of the next match, that right after the triple threat match with Edge, and then they was gonna have the second triple threat match, which was Sheamus versus Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. And this was also a good one. This was a very good one. I think it was a little bit of a miscue from. I don't know I can't remember if it was Sheamus or Austin Theory, but one of them threw Bobby Lashley into the steel steps, and he legit got cracked open on the top of his skull. Like he really connected on the sharp part on his skull, and it was like he had just like that, just a split like that going on his head. I'm like, oh, he busted open. And but other than the Crimson, they was going there. This too was a good match, with Bobby Lashley getting the victory after Sheamus bro kicked Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley just threw Sheamus out the ring and then took the pinfall to move on to face AJ Styles in the main event. Then we got the Cameron Grimes versus Baron Corbin match, which really wasn't a match at all. It was pretty much a squash, because only thing it was that Baron Corbin basically came out, cut a promo about how lackluster Cameron Grimes' first match is going to be, and that he should have stayed in NXT. And once he got done with the promo, he turned around and got the cave-in stomp from Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes pinned on 1, 2, 3. And that was pretty much the end of that match. I was like, holy crap. Baron Corbin has become a legit jobber. He just lost in pretty much 2 seconds. It was like, oh my God, that was really a squash match. Now here's where things got a little dicey for me. Roman Reigns promo, and the reason why I say it got dicey is because the promo was good. At the same time, it was bad because I had a lot of questions. Now you're gonna see why. So basically, Roman, typically long entrance, tells the crowd to acknowledge him. They was at Jacksonville, Tennessee, but Bianca Belair's hometown, and he came out he cut a promo about respect and how the crowd acknowledged about chanting his name, and he said respect and legacy and all that type of stuff, and he said that Solo stepped up and become, being winners and stuff. Solo stepped up, saying he stepped up at Backlash, saying that they know they only been doing 2 nights at WrestleManias. Um, they haven't been doing it long, but that the bloodline, the Samoan bloodline, will be the only people to main event both nights of WrestleMania. Um, but yeah, then he got back to it. He said that before he started talking about Solo stepping up, and then Solo mentions the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn problem, and Roman basically said Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is not the problem, it's your brothers. Because he said, we don't have a Kevin. They're not the problems. They're not the problems. But we do have a problem, and the problem is your brothers. And then he goes over to the Usos and said, "What did you think you could lose at WrestleMania and we're not going to talk about it?" And then he basically told them that you lost at WrestleMania, then got a rematch. Lost at WrestleMania, got your rematch, and you dedicated the rematch to me. He said, "I'm not even the tag team. We got great tag teams in our bloodline, and you don't dedicate it to them. You dedicate it to me, and then you lose." He said, "You dedicate it to me, and then you lose." He said, "I don't know why you dedicated matches to me. I'm not a tag team. I'm the greatest singles competitor of all time. I'm not a tag team, but okay, you dedicate to me and you lose." So far, so good in this promo. So then he's basically, then he started telling them, okay, you gotta apologize. He wants you to apologize. He wants them to apologize for not only not misdedicating the match, but for disgracing their family by losing twice. And Jay doesn't say anything. Jimmy starts to laugh because he thinks Roman is joking, because he's basically talking to them like their children. And he's like, you can't be serious. He's over there, he's not on the mic, but you can see him laughing, saying you can't be serious. And Roman's like, what? He's like, this funny to you? You laughing? This is funny to you? Oh, we cutting another promo now. You think I'm a clown? He started doing the whole WrestleMania Hollywood commercial they made, and he gets agitated because they wouldn't apologize, telling him that I wouldn't listen to, because the crowd started chanting no, and he was saying I wouldn't listen to these idiots, and that if I was you, I would apologize. And he said, if I was you, I would apologize right now. And yet they still don't really apologize. So this ticks Roman off even more, to where he pushes, he like mugs Jimmy's face, and Jimmy just stands there like, did he just? I know he didn't just do what I think he just did. And Roman's like, what you gonna do, huh? What you gonna, taunting him, saying what you gonna do, because he could see that he like got mad for that mud, that he wanted to do something. So Jimmy like tried to compose himself, like, okay, man. He tried to compose himself, but then he like, screw it. He was about to go at Roman, but Jay got in front of him and said, he's like, we sorry, Oos. We sorry. And, just give it, we apologize. We sorry. Just give us one more shot to bring the gold back to the bloodline. That's all we need, is one more shot. And Roman basically says, oh, you're right. The gold will be coming back to the bloodline. Wise man, fill him in. And this is where the promo gets dicey for me. This is where I get confused. Paul Heyman, now story-wise, it makes sense, but for the story, it kind of makes sense, but for just the overall of it, it's like, that doesn't make sense. Now, how is this all going to work? But so Paul Heyman announces that at Night of Champions, the Usos, not the Usos, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be defending their titles. Now here, if you know where Night of Champions takes place, you're going to understand why this is dicey, but I'll get to that why. If you don't, I'll explain in a minute. So they're going to say, he says, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will defend the titles. their undisputed tag team titles and lose them at Night of Champions to Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. Not the Usos. And Roman dedicates the match to the greatest tag team of all time, the Wild Samoans. And that was the end of the promo. So see, here's where I'm confused. For one, now, if you don't know, Night of Champions takes place in Saudi Arabia. Sami Zayn can't go to Saudi Arabia. Now, I heard from Wrestle Talk that I guess they worked out some things. I don't know how true this is, but I guess Saudi is becoming a little lax on the religion or whatever they laws and restrictions and stuff. Which I guess Sami Zayn had a certain religion which didn't go well with them, and he couldn't go to Saudi Arabia. But now apparently they're okay with it. And Kevin Owens wouldn't go, out of support to Sami Zayn. But now apparently it's good because both of them, because it even got confirmed later on in the night that it was going to be that at Night of Champions. So I'm like, apparently now it's okay. Okay. Second thing, Night of Champions is the night that every single championship is defended. So is Roman's about to wrestle 2 matches? Because he's still got to defend his titles against a contender. But then the way it's going, he's not defending his title at Night of Champions. He's just going to go for the tag team titles with Solo. And then the other thing is, why do we still got both tag team titles on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn if we got the brand split? Smackdown needs titles. You just created a main title for Raw, but Smackdown needs a title. They need the tag titles. What's going on in this whole booking scenario here? Why do Bianca Belair still got the Raw Women's Championship on SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley got the SmackDown Women's Championship on Raw? Like, what is going on? Like, I am so confused, and I was so angry. I'm like, no, none of this makes sense. This hurts my head so much, and it made me angry. I was enjoying Roman Reigns' promo up until that point. I'm like, what? So, yeah, I don't know. We got Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Damage Control, Bayley, and Dakota Kai. There was a backstage promo with Raquel and with Bayley and Dakota, where Bayley was basically talking about how she was a little bit irritated that Kayla was still talking about Roman, but then she compared her and Roman to being great leaders, and that they was going to beat up Liv and Raquel for the women's tag team titles. While during the match, Amber Fire and her tag team, the NXT women's tag team champions, was looking on and backstage. But also before the match, there was also, I couldn't remember if it was before or after, but it was before they even started the match. The Usos, after being embarrassed and humiliated like that in the ring, they got into it backstage with LWO, and that's going to set up a match between the Usos and them next week. But yeah, the Liv Morgan, the match was a cool tag team match with Liv Morgan and Raquel getting the victory and retaining the SmackDown, the women's tag team championship. Bianca Belair came out for her championship celebration promo, which didn't have really no talking. She just came out, to the pop of her hometown crowd, raised the championship, and celebrating not only her victory but her being the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion in the modern era. They did a little pyro, all that type of stuff. But then Asuka came out. At first you see that Asuka came out to celebrate and whatnot. She even extended her hand in congratulatory fashion. But then once they shook hands, she spit the mist on Bianca, signifying that she wants to be the person to challenge Bianca probably at Night of Champions. But yeah, and that was it. I think there was a backstage promo with Bianca saying she gonna get Asuka while being agitated and in pain in the medical locker room. Then we got to the main event, which is Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles, which was a fun main event. They put Bobby Lashley's cut reopened again, and they talked about how that's the dangers of wrestling twice in one night. And AJ Styles will win with a phenomenal forearm to go on tonight at Champions to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then remind you, no matter what happens, no matter who wins, either Seth or AJ, if AJ Styles wins, he goes to Raw. He doesn't stay on SmackDown because the title is exclusive to Raw. So that means if a SmackDown superstar wins at Night of Champions, which would be AJ Styles, that superstar goes to be a Raw superstar. And it's Seth Rollins wins. He just since he's already a Raw superstar, he just wins. But that's the significance of a SmackDown superstar winning. They just become a Raw star. So even after the draft, if AJ Styles would win, he would just be traded or be back to Raw because he's now officially a Raw superstar after winning the championship. But it's most definitely gonna be Seth Rollins. But this episode, if it wasn't for that Roman promo, I was gonna give this I probably was gonna give this a 8 or a 7, but I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10, just because I don't know what they're doing. It was okay, but I don't know what they're doing. That promo with Roman was horrible in the sense of what they announced. It just was a big confusing mess. It was once that aired, everybody was confused. It was like, wait a minute, I seen all over YouTube and everything. People was like, wait, Sammy can't go over there. Like nobody even knew what's going on. And like I said, like Fightful and Wrestle Talk, all them, they basically came out and said that I guess they mended the fences or whatnot. I don't know, but that was horrible. Yeah, but 6 out of 10. You let me know in the comments what you thought, and if you enjoyed this review, you know what to do. You hit this button right here for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much you want to support the channel, well, hit those buttons. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content, but don't go anywhere because I got more. I got my video about Raw that I want to talk about, and some reactions, and more gameplay. So peace.